Hello, hello, everybody. I hope that I am not freezing. How are y'all? How are y'all? Happy Friday, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well, doing good. And so, as promised, be on. Hi, eating it up, my love. How are you? Mwah! I literally was just watching your video and had to pause it because I promised at 9 o'clock I'd start the live. But I'm loving it. I am loving it. Yes. And let me tell you, that lady was kind of rude. Hey, Lavender. Mwah! Is Seti with you? Yeah, that lady was rude, trying to tell you, when is it gonna be? Listen, I'm not clarividente, I'm not clairvoyant. I don't know when it's time to get the blood work. Just be patient. But yeah, so today's theme is going to be about forgiveness, right, guys? Iris, are you able to see Denise's post? She said hi. I know that what YouTube does is they kind of like screen it and then they'll let me see it. Oh, okay, he's knocked out. Okay, cool, cool. All right. So I am going to get a semi definition, right? Okay, awesome, awesome. I'm going to get a semi definition, but you know the word forgive, right, guys? The word forgive is actually two words put together. What two words do you think have been put together to create that one word, forgive? Well, you hear it, right? For and give. And it's interesting because when you forgive someone, essentially you're giving up something for something else to a certain degree, right? So what I did do was I wrote some notes about what you give and you give it up for something. So you give mercy to the other person for your inner peace. You give love to yourself for personal growth. You give patience to the other person to possibly be able to develop a beautiful future with the person. Now, these are depending on different situations, right? You give time for healing. You give strength for your emotional stability to become firm. And sometimes you have to give the person the boot so you can move on. So forgive. And I like the last one too. Sometimes you give them the boot to move on. Forgive them a boot and keep it moving. But literally, even in the last one, it is forgiveness because you say, you know what? Whatever it is that you did, I'm going to be over it. And in the meantime, out my life. You know? So what do you guys think about those little definitions I gave? You love that one, huh, Lavender? What do you think about those? Did you guys like those? They make sense? Remember, you give mercy for inner peace. You give love for personal growth. You give patience so that something beautiful can develop. You give time for you to heal. You give strength so that your inner self can become firm. And you give the boot to have the person get out your life. You know, and as I'm saying it, I'm sure that mentally, whoever's listening to it is able to kind of see where in their life these things can apply, right? Thank you, my love. Thank you. I'm glad it makes a lot of sense. I'm glad it makes a lot of sense. Denise said, I love what you said, but I ain't forgiven. Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, yes, Lavender, you're actually giving something. Because remember, so what we need to think about is when is it that we need to forgive? We need to forgive when we have been offended, right? So that offense could be a hurt. That offense can be something as serious as a murder. That offense can be something as serious as a betrayal in a relationship, you know? So forgiveness is necessary when one person has been offended and you have the person who is the offender, right? So I was looking up at an encyclopedia, and it says this about forgiveness. It says forgiveness, the act of pardoning. And we're going to talk about the etymology for the word forgive. So it says the act of pardoning an offender, ceasing to feel resentment toward that person. And in this case, the encyclopedia knows men are usually the offender because it says ceasing to feel resentment toward him. Why are guys always the offender? I don't know. You tell me. I think I don't offend anybody. But yeah, it says ceasing to feel resentment toward him because of his offenses and giving up. Yeah, you know, she. Well, you know something, Denise. When it comes to those type of things, the funny thing is, okay. So you bring up a very good point. You have a person that has done something, and there are things that are unforgivable by definition. By definition, you know. But even then, girl, you are right, Iris. Oh my God. You hit it on the nose. Men tend to use the other head to think. And that's what gets, okay, yes. You cracked the code, girl. You cracked the code. But there are things that are unforgivable. You pardon, you forgive. And then, so the etymology of the word forgive literally comes from, let me see, sorry. Okay, it comes from those two words, for and give. But in this case, the word for means literally for, towards. And give, of course, means to donate. So how do you say forgive in Spanish? Perdonar. Per, para la persona, y donar, to donate, to give. So in this case, when you forgive, you are donating something for this person, right? Because they don't deserve it for the most part. But if the person has done something that's unforgivable, then the forgiveness, and this is very cliche, but it's cliche because it's true, then the forgiveness has to be you forgiving yourself. You forgiving yourself. So in this case, then you have to, you were angry. You are angry. And sometimes we blame ourselves for what has occurred. Whatever it is that has occurred, be it that we weren't able to be present to protect, be it that we put ourselves in a situation that created the opportunity for, or be it that we chose to stay, or be it that we didn't stand up for ourselves when so-and-so was always nitpicking at us and trying to put us down, and ultimately they were able to break us. So a lot of times what the forgiveness has to come from you to you. You know, you have to give yourself that time to grow. You have to give yourself that mercy. You have to give yourself that patience, that peace. Okay. Honestly, I'm not angry anymore, and I am not hurt anymore. She's been a bully for years. I just tolerate it. Absolutely. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. But eventually you got to the point where you were no longer going to tolerate it. And it's possible that you don't need to forgive that person, but what you do need to do is forgive yourself. And this is what happens. Remember, the reason why forgiveness has to happen is because there's an offender and there's an offendee, right? Sometimes we are hypersensitive, so we get offended quickly. So sometimes it's just a matter of saying, you know what, okay, maybe that wasn't an issue. So the person who we perceived as the offender doesn't need to be forgiven because they didn't really do anything. So we have to kind of check ourselves and see that, right? Okay. After we analyze ourselves and find out if we have a right to be offended, then we have to see if there's a need for forgiveness. The way we can kind of calculate if there's a need for forgiveness is this stunting me? Is this stopping me from growing as a person? Is this keeping me from being able to show love to other people, show love to my child, show love to a possible SIGO, everybody knows what a SIGO is, right? I'm trying to bring that phrase back. A possible significant other. Excuse me, I just had soup. So if that feeling, that emotion is hindering your growth and your interpersonal relationships, forgiveness is essential. Forgiveness is essential. Forgiveness is connected to emotion. Okay? Forgiveness is connected to emotion. You know what I mean? I don't get it, baby. What you mean no but forgiveness is connected to the emotions. So when the emotions are stifled, oh yeah, possible significant other. It's a SIGO. It's SIG. I want to say apostrophe. You can use an apostrophe. Oh, SIGO. But yeah, so it's like you have to forgive yourself. And what I've learned in my life is once I forgave myself for certain situations, it was easier for me to forgive the other person. It does help if the person apologizes. It does help if the person recognizes that they did you wrong. It does help if the person repeatedly, that helps. But is it necessary? The answer is no. It's not necessary, because the forgiveness from you to you is the first thing. And then that will open up a door for you to forgive that person. Remember, for me, a forgiveness can also be giving them the boot so they can move on. But it opens up that forgiveness. Why does it open up that door? Because now, emotionally, you are stronger. You're stronger. Get it? So forgiveness is connected with emotions. All right? So what do you guys think? Sound off. Let me hear your thoughts. This was something I wrote. I don't know the steps to forgive myself. Okay. And that's being realistic. Thank you very much, Lavender. That's very realistic. I don't know the steps to forgive myself. The first step to forgiving yourself, and this is something I always say because it is a core truth. It's the core truth. You have to ask yourself, what is the reality? What is the reality? And when I say what is the reality, and listen, I speak in general specifics. I speak in general specifics. So I try to hit the target. I try to hit many targets with one arrow. Okay, so that's what a general specifics. I don't know exactly what your specific problem is, but I try to speak in general specifics. So how can one person start to forgive themselves? They have to be able to face their reality. All right. So I'm going to use an example. Let's say that you were dating, I'm dating Jim Bartholomew, right? And we are madly in love. Oh, I love Jim. He's the best person in the world. We're planning on getting engaged and getting married. And then I come to find out that Jim, the week before I'm going to get married, has been having an affair with Samantha Jane, a girl that I didn't really know, but I was introduced to her by Jim as a friend. And I'm like, okay, so Jim tells me, hey, babe, guess what? Okay, we've been dating for a long time. We're engaged, and we're working towards getting married. But I got to tell you, I'm in love with Samantha. So what's the reality? So I would have to do this. I'd have to step back And it's hard to cool the emotions, especially when there's hurt. But it's possible. You step back and you say, okay, what's the reality? The reality is that I was all in the relationship. Jim was not all in because he was doing, as Lavender says, thinking with the other head. And Samantha really has nothing to do with it because I don't know Samantha. Samantha doesn't know me. We may have met, but you ain't get me no Crunch. You ain't get me no Hershey bar. You ain't get me no Snickers bar. So I don't know you. You don't know me. I ain't done for you. You ain't done for me. So you ain't nothing in my life. So my only issue would be with Jim, right? So the reality is I was being honest, I was being fair, I was being loyal, I was being all in. The offender, because he is legitimately an offender, decided to step out of the relationship. Now, I would have to say, and it's not blaming yourself if you say, how did I contribute to this situation? Okay? It's not blaming yourself. Are you guys able to see me? All right. So it's not that you're blaming yourself. Thank you, love. Okay. It's not that you're blaming yourself, but it's you're saying, how did I contribute to this situation? You're not even going to be worrying so much about Jim. You're going to be worrying about you. How did I contribute? Was I being attentive from where we started to where we were now? Did I change? Did I become negligent in certain things? And if the answer is yes, okay. And guess what? That's where you start forgiving yourself. That's where you start saying, you know something? In a mature relationship, things do change. Negligence does occur, but that does not give the other person the key to infidelity. It does not give the other person the paper, the visa, to go visit another person romantically. But I recognize where I played a part and I forgive myself because I may have, the operative word is may, I may have contributed to opening a situation. Now, once you're able to forgive yourself, guess what? It makes it a little easier to forgive the other person. Infidelities, I usually say that forgive is the one with the boot. Now, if you're married, it may be different. You know what I mean? It may be different where the person might choose to give that person patience so that then a beautiful relationship can be cultivated. And I'll tell you, I've had friends that their spouse did step out on them and they were able to forgive and they were patient. And let me tell you, they are some of the best couples I've seen to date. Matter of fact, I know one couple who they've been married going on 75 years. You know? So yeah, forgiveness is beautiful. And honestly, guys, forgiveness is healthy for you. It's healthy for your, when I say the word soul, I mean your entire being, your mind, your heart, you. It's good for you to forgive. And the other health benefit is a mental health benefit. When you forgive, the mind stops producing whatever chemicals it produces that correspond to anger, that correspond to hurt, that correspond to a certain type of sadness. So if it's no longer going to be producing those chemicals, guess what? You're not going to be feeling those feelings. So now that gives the mind the opportunity to produce what are the chemicals? The chemicals that help you feel good, help you feel happy, help you feel confident, help you feel valorous. You get it? So forgiveness is a benefit, an immense benefit to yourself. You know? So that's something that I hope we had a good conversation. Um, I don't know if you guys have any questions. If you have any questions, ask away. But I hope it was a good conversation. Was it a good conversation? Tell me, let me know, you know? But yeah, so that's it. Tomorrow, hopefully, I know we have oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, my love. You're the best. You're the best eating it up. I love you. I want to eat you up. I want to eat you up. Tomorrow it's supposed to be really bad weather here in the Bronx. I live in the Bronx. I live in the Southeast, where our water is not as good as the West Bronx. Let me tell you, I lived in the West Bronx for a year, and anywhere in the West Bronx, the water tastes like it's filtered. Tastes like it's filtered. Okay, here in the Southeast Bronx, we actually have to have a filter. We have a filter in the kitchen and a filter in the shower too. Sometimes you're taking a shower and you're like, oh, So I do that. So I make sure I'm drinking some fresh water, not tap water. But yeah, so tomorrow I do have two clients lined up. One is a wash and set on a partial weave. And the other one, they kind of fancy sometimes rocking natural hair. Sometimes they fancy rocking the straight hair. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, so hopefully tomorrow I'll be recording. And if I can go live, I'll go live. And then I'll, post that. But I love you so much. Your noodles looked good. And I saw you working your chopsticks, girl. I saw you working the chopsticks. But that was a good idea with the rubber band. I didn't. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love making the lives. They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. And maybe next time I'll even sing a song for you. Yeah, I saw it works. I saw it works. I saw you eating. I was like, ooh. When I go to the Thai restaurant next time, I'm going to take some rubber bands with me. I'm going to be like, okay. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Yes. All right. So hopefully we'll have another live soon.